A sharp warning call cuts across the dry savanna. Impalas lift their heads at once. A pair of jackals stops at the edge of the grass, then slips back into cover. High above the herd, a fork-tailed drongo holds its position on a bare branch, black feathers shining in the hard afternoon light. Then the grass parts. A leopard steps into the open. For a few tense seconds, the scene appears impossible. The impalas do not scatter. The smaller hunters have vanished. And the most dangerous animal in the clearing seems to be standing between the herd and everything else that might attack it. Has a tiny bird just turned a leopard into a bodyguard? The answer begins with the drongo. Fork-tailed drongos are small, alert birds that often move near other animals as they forage. From an elevated perch, a drongo can detect danger before many ground-dwelling species do. When a real threat appears, its alarm call can send nearby animals running for cover. To a hungry animal with its head down, that warning may be the difference between escaping and reacting too late. But the drongo's voice has another side. These birds are remarkable vocal mimics. They can copy alarm calls made by other species, and they do not always use those calls honestly. Researchers have documented drongos giving false alarms near animals that are handling food. When the target drops its meal and flees, the drongo dives down and steals what was left behind. A warning that is false too often will eventually be ignored. So the drongo varies its calls. It may use its own alarm on one occasion, then imitate the warning of another species later. By changing the signal, it can make the deception convincing again. That does not mean the drongo controls every animal around it. It does not command predators, organize herds, or plan alliances. But its calls can change behavior. A single sound can make grazing stop, heads rise, bodies freeze, and animals reconsider their next move. Now return to the clearing. The drongo calls. The impalas become alert. They lift their heads, close their spacing, and focus on the surrounding grass. The jackals hesitate. Perhaps they have detected the same disturbance. Perhaps they have noticed the leopard before the impalas have. Whatever the reason, the risk around them has changed. The leopard enters slowly. To human eyes, a leopard is an obvious signal to run, but immediate flight is not always the safest response. A sudden sprint can attract attention and trigger pursuit. Prey animals watch a predator's posture, direction, distance, and level of interest before deciding what to do. A cat that is crouched and closing the distance creates a different danger from one that is exposed, relaxed, or moving away. So the impalas remain tense, but they do not explode into motion. The leopard pauses. For that brief moment, the animal that poses the greatest threat may also discourage smaller hunters from approaching. A jackal searching for a vulnerable newborn may avoid entering the space around a much larger cat. Other opportunists may wait at a distance. The leopard has not chosen to defend the herd. It may not even be aware that its presence is changing the behavior of other animals. Yet the effect can look like protection. This is where the story becomes dangerous, because appearance is not the same as evidence. There is no established three-species alliance in which a drongo deliberately calls a leopard to protect impalas. The bird is not hiring a guard, the leopard is not honoring a truce, and the impalas are not trusting a friendly predator. Each animal is solving its own problem. The drongo is watching for threats and feeding opportunities. The impalas are measuring the cost of standing still against the cost of running. The leopard is deciding whether the herd offers a realistic chance to hunt. The smaller predators are judging whether entering the clearing is worth the risk. For a few seconds, those separate decisions overlap. The result is a bodyguard illusion. The leopard's presence may reduce one danger while creating another. The impalas may gain a temporary advantage because jackals keep their distance, but the cat remains capable of attacking. One change in wind could carry the herd's scent toward it. One fawn could step away from its mother. One sudden movement could transform the quiet pause into a chase. Nothing about this arrangement is stable, and that instability is the real lesson. Wildlife relationships are not always partnerships with clear rules. Sometimes one species benefits from an action that was never intended to help it. An animal can change another animal's chances of survival without cooperation, friendship, or even direct contact. The savanna is full of these invisible connections. A bird gives a warning because it sees danger. Grazing animals react and disturb insects, creating food for the bird. A large predator enters, causing smaller hunters to withdraw. The prey gains a moment of relief, even though the new arrival is more dangerous than the animals that disappeared. Cause and effect move through the landscape like wind through dry grass. No species sees the entire chain. Each responds only to the signals it can detect and the risks it understands. Eventually, the leopard turns away. Perhaps it was never hunting. Perhaps the herd was too alert, the approach too exposed, or the opportunity simply not worth the effort. The impalas continue watching until the cat disappears into the grass. Only then do their heads begin to lower. The drongo remains above them. It has not created peace. It has not formed an alliance. It has only added one more voice to a landscape where every sound may carry information, opportunity, or deception. So, can a drongo turn a leopard into an impala's bodyguard? Not in the way the title suggests. The leopard never stops being a predator. The drongo never becomes the architect of a secret alliance. But for one brief and accidental moment, a warning call, a cautious herd, and the presence of a larger threat can reshape the balance of danger. On the African savanna, survival does not always depend on defeating an enemy or finding a friend. Sometimes it depends on recognizing which danger is moving, which danger is waiting, and which shadow has made another shadow disappear.